Hello students, today we are going to do the life history of Herdmania part 4. In the previous chapter we had done the general anatomy of the animal and you must have had an idea of what all the placement of the organ is like in the animal, and now according to that knowledge we will be able to understand the digestive system. It is made up of two parts, the alimentary tract and the digestive glands. So let's start with the digestive system of Herdmania. Now here in the digestive system you can see the diagrams, and it is, as I previously told you, it is divided into alimentary canal, and alimentary canal in turn is made up of many organs. As you have done in the lower animals, the alimentary canal, it usually starts with the mouth, and then after the mouth comes the stomach. But in these animals, before the stomach there is a large pharynx which is used for the collection of food, and after the pharynx will come the esophagus, and after esophagus is the stomach, which is surrounded by the digestive glands, and after the stomach comes the intestinal loop. You can see here that the stomach is not very well developed. It's just like a tube, because all the functions which are completed in the stomach in the higher animals, in the chordates, in protochordates, those functions are completed by the pharynx, and so the volume of the stomach need not to be more as in the higher animals. Then after the stomach there comes the intestinal loop, the so-called loop in between which is situated the gonad. This will do in the reproductive system, and the intestinal loop, it ends into the rectum, and the rectum opens to the outside, not to the outside, to the atrial cavity, which is as good as outside, into the atrial cavity through the anus. And the atrial cavity, as you can see, it is this cavity, and the waste products which are coming out of the anus, they come into the atrial siphon, and then through the atrial aperture they come out of the body. So this was the generalized structure of the whole alimentary canal along with the digestive glands. Now if you will watch the diagram properly one by one, you will see the organs in detail. Like there is the mouth, which is situated on the top of the branchial siphon. You already know that this is the branchial siphon and this is the atrial siphon. So this branchial siphon, which is marking the anterior part of the body, it is having a branchial aperture, and that aperture is guarded by 4 lips, and these lips are made up of the extensions of the test. Then after the mouth comes the buccal cavity, and then here there is a sphincter at the base of the branchial siphon, and this sphincter is having a number of tentacles which overlap each other to form a sieve-like structure, which will guard the food particles and the other particles coming inside the body, inside the pharynx, through the immersed in the water which is coming in. And this sphincter, it is having a number of branchial tentacles, and these tentacles are of 4 sizes. There are approximately 8 large tentacles, 8 small tentacles, 16 very small tentacles, and then 64 the smallest tentacles. Or you can say there are 8 large, 8 medium, 16 small, and then 32 very small tentacles. And all these tentacles, you can see that it is a small aperture, and this is having at least it becomes 8 plus 8 is 16, and 16 32 and 64. 64 tentacles are present in this sphincter. And then after this sieve-like structure, for looking at the detailed structure of the tentacles, we will have to go to the diagram of a tentacle. It will come on the next slide, and so I will explain it to you when it comes over there. Then after this sphincter, the water is entering the pharynx, and the pharynx is made up of two zones, the prebranchial zone and the branchial zone. The branchial zone is the whole of the inside of the pharynx, a bag-like structure, and the detailed structure we'll do afterwards. It has four main headings in which we will explain the structure of the pharynx. Before that, the prebranchial zone. The prebranchial zone is separated from the branchial zone by peripharyngeal bands. These are the peripharyngeal bands. These are two bands. One is anterior towards the atrial siphon, and one is towards the pharynx, towards the branchial zone. So these two bands, they are demarcating the prebranchial zone from the branchial zone. And the anterior band, it is a complete ring-like structure, and anterior to this band is present the dorsal tubercle. This you will see in this diagram, it will be clear, and I will come to it. Then afterwards, after the peripharyngeal band, anterior peripharyngeal band lies parallel to it lies the posterior peripharyngeal band, and this peripharyngeal band is not completely circular. It is running from the upper end, from the dorsal end towards a little to the ventral end of the animal, and it is interrupted by the dorsal lamina on the dorsal side and the endostyle on the ventral side. Like this is the dorsal lamina, and it is continuous with this posterior peripharyngeal band, and this posterior peripharyngeal band on the ventral side is continuous with the endostyle. So it is like this. And then after the prebranchial zone comes the branchial zone, and then as usual, as I explained to you, the alimentary canal, all the substance which is collected, it is mainly the food which is collected, is transformed to the esophagus, and from the esophagus it goes further in the intestine. Now this structure which I have done, this is very well explained in this diagram, and in this diagram you can see this is the endostyle, this is the dorsal lamina, and this is the esophagus, and then these are the liver lobes. So obviously this is the area where the stomach is present. Now in this diagram, it is showing the relations of branchial siphon, branchial folds, peripharyngeal bands with groove, esophageal area, dorsal lamina, and endostyle. This is a kind of the cut open view of the pharynx. Like this is the prebranchial zone, and if it is folded, like if this endostyle, it is folded on top of this region, and then it comes to lie under the dorsal lamina. So these you can see are the peripharyngeal bands, the circular peripharyngeal bands this you can understand like this, that the endostyle is cut in between, and then the branchial sac is open, and we are viewing it from the ventral side. And when the see here the endostyle is there, and if you are viewing it from this side, then there is the branchial aperture here. This is the branchial aperture, and this is the endostyle, and this is the dorsal lamina. You can see it here. This is the dorsal lamina, and this is the endostyle. So the branchial aperture is in between the dorsal lamina and the endostyle. This endostyle and this is dorsal lamina, and in between there is the branchial aperture. So this is this view. This is the branchial aperture. This is the branchial sphincter, and you can see the branchial tentacles. These 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 are large tentacles. Then 8 in between them are the medium tentacles, and then in between the large and the medium are the small tentacles, and then in between the small and the large and small and medium tentacles, there is one each of the smallest tentacles, and like this these are forming the sieve like structure. They are crisscrossed upon each other, and then they form a sieve. And so this is the branchial siphon, and then you can see the dorsal tubercle, which is present in front of the anterior peripharyngeal band. Like see now here, this is the inner peripharyngeal or anterior peripharyngeal band, which is a continuous ring like structure, but the outer one, it is not continuous. It is going from here to here, and then here it is continuing as endostyle, and here it was continuous with the dorsal lamina. So here it is very clear. And then if this endostyle is attached, then it is not cut open. Like you imagine, if it is not cut open, then the endostyle and the dorsal lamina, they both kind of end into the esophageal opening. So this was the inner side of pharynx, the view of the inner side of the pharynx. And these radiating structures, they are the branchial folds. In between the peripharyngeal bands, the anterior whole ring-like band and the posterior peripharyngeal band, there is a groove, and this groove bears small cilia-like structures, and the peripharyngeal band themselves, they bear large cilia. So, and these cilia are all helpful in the movement of the water, which is from the outside to the atrial siphon and to the pharynx. The direction of the water is this. Now next, let's go to the next slide. The next slide, there's the structure of this is the buccal cavity, and you know the buccal cavity is situated after the branchial siphon and before the prebranchial zone. Now the buccal cavity is having that sphincter and the tentacles, and these tentacles, as I've told you, they are 64 in number. This is one of the tentacle. Now each tentacle is broad at the base, and it is attached to the sphincter from here, and the upper end is narrow and it is free, and these are the ends which crisscross and form a sieve-like structure. Every tentacle have 12 tentaculets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and this is the 12th one, which is forming the tip of the tentacle. These tentaculets, they in turn, they have a large surface area because they are divided into secondary branches, and the secondary branches in turn are divided into tertiary branches. These small lines, they are depicting the spaces between the tertiary branches. So this is the structure of a tentacle, branchial tentacle. It is a side view of the branchial tentacle. And the pharyngeal bands, the peripharyngeal bands, which I had done in the previous slide, I had shown you. These peripharyngeal bands, if you look at the detailed structure, then these are having the peripharyngeal grooves. This is the peripharyngeal band, and these are the peripharyngeal grooves, and they are inside. There is a connective tissue in which lie the blood sinuses, and this is the ciliated epithelium, and the epithelium is bearing large cilia. That's why it's called ciliated epithelium. So this is the structure of buccal cavity, peripharyngeal band. Now we will continue with the detailed structure of the branchial sac in the next lecture. So thank you for now, and happy reading.